Bob Dylan, the freewheeling Bob Dylan himself, decided to, in this quarantine, release an album. His first in over a decade. I believe his last album was in 2006. Would I say this is like a highly anticipated album for me? Not necessarily. I was more or less interested in this project only because the name Bob Dylan is just so iconic. It's almost a household name. Maybe it was at one point a household name, but you know, we've moved on with Bob Dylan. Society has progressed too much for the need of Bob Dylan anymore, but I digress. I will say though, this album, Rough and Rowdy Ways, I just feel like to be a very mild Bob Dylan album. The songwriting is alright. It's not as captivating as some of his best projects, and granted, he has a lot of great projects, but if we're talking about the way this album can make you interested or make you invested, it doesn't do a lot of that all the time. A lot of the songs feel very tedious, very meandering. They don't really have a lot of focus or direction. Lyrically, they have much direction. Esoteric lyrics from Bob Dylan himself can always be very interesting. And I do like me some esoteric lyrics. I do like me some interesting poetry set to a very mild, rustic, and vintage backdrop, but a lot of the songs leave so much to be desired, specifically from the instrumentation, the blues rock, the rhythm and blues, the Americana sounds that are coming through the instrumentals are pretty plain, pretty mild, pretty substandard, or at least pretty ordinary. The one thing I also dislike about this album is the fact that it is 70 minutes long. And not to say long albums are necessarily bad, but when they're lengthy and tedious, they get me a little annoyed. And not to say I was annoyed listening to this album from front to back, but once I got to Murder Most Foul, I was really done with the record. And this song is needlessly long. It does not need to be 17 minutes. Why? But it is Bob Dylan, of course. He is going to write about something like, of course, the JFK assassination to very great detail. But I find the songwriting on this song in particular to be very, surface level. The songs that I found most interesting, like False Prophet with its heavy instrumentation, it's almost riveting at some points. Also, the track Crossing the Rubicon has a very interesting lyrical, hook or mantra that's being repeated throughout the song. It just captivates me more or less than interests me. Black Rider is also a fine track too, but really this record is kinda just a regular Bob Dylan album. Very middle of the road for me. I don't think this is his most interesting album. I don't think this is his best album. I don't think this album's even close to his best albums. Not to say anyone's saying that, but I mean, it's Bob Dylan. You're gonna have people that are gonna be like, "Oh, it's a great album," and that's fine. That's totally understandable. Whenever an artist that I love comes out with a new project, I'm probably gonna give it praise from hell to whatever the phrase is. But as iconic and as legendary as the dude himself is, this record is a snooze fest for me. I really did not get interested or captivated with any of the vocals, any of the songwriting. Most of the instrumentation on this record is pretty bland, pretty forgettable. I just kind of wish there was more song on some of these tracks rather than just simple instrumentation and lyrics. Yeah, sure, sometimes his poetry can be interesting, but this dude has written so many great songs. Come on, do something a little more interesting this time around. But yeah, if you like Bob Dylan, if you like his style, if you like his sound, you're of course gonna like this project, no doubt about it. It definitely appeals to those that enjoy his music and this style of music. I wish I liked it more, that's all I gotta say. It's, again, pretty middle of the road for me. I'll give it a C, in all honesty. However, I am curious to know what are your thoughts and opinions on this album down below. Let me know what albums you want me to review next, and that is it. Like, comment, share, do whatever you want. Let me know how I can improve future videos down below. Remember, this is only my opinion, because music is subjective.